Boxingego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button, also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. Now, Freddie Roach, trainer, multiple trainer of the year, he did an interview with On the Ropes Radio, and the link is in the description. And he's back at it, doing what he does. He says that if Pacquiao was 100%, he would have beat Floyd Mayweather. If he has a rematch, which they want, then he'll beat Floyd Mayweather. And I'm just paraphrasing because it's not even worth me reading the direct quote and stuff. You guys get the gist. If, shoulda, coulda, woulda. And it's funny because I actually posted a meme somebody sent me on the page, and it says, no Crawford, no Thurman, no Spence will prosper against me because Lord Bob Adam will lie and protect me. And I didn't make this, I just seen it and posted it, and I said true or false. It got 632 plus likes, 130 comments, and I'm just gonna slice this up because this is what I do, man. This is fun. This is funny to me. And I don't know what it is, but when it comes to Pacquiao, people act like he's Steven Seagal, he's above the law. Is he a legend? Yes. And there's a lot of people agree, and we're just gonna go through some of the comments. For real, very true, true. So a lot of people agree with it. And look at this other comment. Let me go right here. Asir said, he's proven everything already, and he's getting old. Why should he fight the top guys when he himself is no longer on top? You see the dumb shit we have to deal with, and it got 11 likes. 11 people like this, right? They're like, oh yeah, that's a great comment, man. Once again, it always goes down like this in boxing. People are okay with it when it's a fighter that they like and want to do well or whatever. But this, to me, and fans like this is what's wrong with boxing. He's proven everything already. He's proven a lot. I mean, I don't think you can ever prove everything, but whatever. He has a good resume. He has an entertaining style. See, I have no problem giving credit where credit's due, but you can't say he's proven everything when he is a champion and he has a belt. He is the WBO world champion of the world at welterweight, right? You got guys like Spence Jr. and this is how you know there's clear-cut double standards. Spence Jr., he was working his way up the ladder to fight Kell Brook, and what do they say? Oh, he hasn't beat no one. So he's earning his stripe, he's earning his keep, and they say, oh, he shouldn't get a Kell Brook shot or a Keith Thurman shot. He hasn't beat no one. Now, on the flip side, Pacquiao has beat people. He does have a good resume, but now, because he has that resume, we're not supposed to acknowledge him as a champion. If that is the case, then why don't you get rid of the belt? Don't hold it hostage. Let Keith Thurman fight whoever he needs to fight, whoever is ranked within the WBO to get that strap. You know what I mean? Maybe a Sean Porter rematch or whatever the situation is. Maybe it's Errol Spence. I don't know. But that's fine. Do that. But the reason they're not going to do that is because, agreed, Jeff Horn is an opponent that not anyone that I've seen is really jumping out of their seats for that fight, right? So in order to try to make it sellable, at least on paper, like if you were reading the program and it just said legendary Manny Pacquiao will face unknown Jeff Horn in Australia, you know what I mean? That doesn't sound as good as legendary Pacquiao and WBO current champion, you know what I'm saying? So they're letting him hold on to that, which is bogus, because you got, if you feel that there's so many ways you could dice this up. If you feel you've done everything in the sport, why are you even fighting at all? Why are you, it doesn't even have to do with this sport. This is just general life. If the people who feel like they, like, let's say another sports team, like a Phil Jackson or something, and he feels like, man, I got enough rings with Kobe and Shaq and Mike, I don't have nothing else to prove. Scotty! You know what I mean? He doesn't have nothing to prove, right? Then he'll retire. If you don't feel you could challenge yourself, your passion's not in it, he wants to be a senator or whatever, then why continue to fight? That doesn't even make sense. You're well off financially. You know what I mean? Pacquiao should be. I don't know his money, but you fought Mayweather, and the most lucrative fight in boxing history, so you should be pretty good in that. So why even continue to fight? And how can you say someone has nothing to prove if they are a champion? So the guys that do have something to prove, Keith Thurman, he's a good fighter, but he has more to prove to me. You know what I mean? How can he ever get to a legendary status like Pacquiao if you have someone holding the belt? You see why this is wrong? Errol Spence, he definitely is a fun fighter, but he has a lot more to prove because he just took his first big step up. And he wants to prove that. He said at a press conference, I have the footage, I can air this and do like a throwback Thursday. He says he wanted to fight Pacquiao and Pacquiao lacks fundamental. I own the footage, right? He said post-fight after he beat Kell Brook, I want to unify Keith Thurman. He's injured, but I'll take Pacquiao, right? So if you have nothing else to prove, let these young boys who still do have something to prove, let them scrap for a belt. How about that? You know what I mean? Catch me outside. How about that? And people want to skirt around the issue. Again, if you have nothing to prove, then what are you even doing? That's like me on my YouTube channel saying, oh, man, I hit 100,000 subscribers. I have nothing else to prove. And then I stop making videos. I mean, nah, we get to the next level. We get to that and then we're like, okay, and what's next? You know what I mean? How can we take over this avenue, or we expand or diversify or whatever? That's what people do. But the moment that I feel that I've accomplished everything that is to be accomplished, then that means my passion is no longer there. And then that's it. You know what I mean? Eminem said it in the Till I Collapse verse. He says something, I forgot how he worded it off the top of my head, but he was just saying basically, he said, if I'm not in it to spit, then I quit. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm not really feeling anymore and I don't have passion for this game anymore, then I step away, right? He should have fought Khan. False, this Jeff Horn fight is just for him to look beast to make a good fight. Bullshit. Because why does he have to fight Jeff Horn? He just fought Jesse Vargas. That was pretty easy fight. Vargas never really had him in severe trouble or anything. So that could have been a tune-up for Crawford. You know what I mean? Crazy. It's crazy to me. Someone said, you're a fucking asshole. I'm kidding. LOL. This shit had me rolling right now, bruh. I'm hearing this voice, his voice in my head. Doo, 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 doo. Best post so far. I'm not fussed about Pacquiao. He's had a good career now and is clearly at the end. But why do they want a rematch? Why do you want a Mayweather rematch? If you've already done all you can do and you have nothing left to prove, then why you don't have to prove that you could beat Floyd Mayweather? Because obviously they want that money, they want that loot, they want that cream, dollar bills, y'all. You know what I mean? So it's just very inconsistent what I hear from Team Pacquiao. You know what I mean? Somebody tag Terence Crawford. This is for you. Ha ha ha. Honestly, he's not as good as he once was. He should fight McGregor. Okay, speaking of that, some people keep comparing Mayweather McGregor. First of all, Floyd didn't do what Pacquiao did, and both times he retired, he actually stayed away from the sport for like 2 years, right? Pacquiao retired in April and came back in November. He's like, I beat Bradley in the third fight and I retired, right? And he retired and he came back by November. Ain't no retirement. You came back the same year. Come on. Jordan didn't even do that when he retired and came back with the Wizards. You know what I mean? But Bob Arum has expressed interest in Pacquiao fighting McGregor. And so has Pacquiao. So, you know what I mean? That's another thing. People are hypocrites and double standards. All of a sudden, Mayweather, who actually is retired, you stepped away for 2 years. We don't know how you're going to come back. You know what I mean? That's a legit retirement, even if you do come back, because you've actually been away. But you don't. That's like Mayweather saying he retired after Robert Guerrero in May, and then he comes back and fight Canelo in September. That ain't no fucking retirement. That's just an off season. You know what I'm saying? And someone says, Monk be snapping. Facts. This fool needs to fight one of them niggas before he retire, LOL. Or Broner, Khan Garcia, somebody, LOL. He going out on rematches in Jeff Horn. Meanwhile, they want Floyd to fight damn near light heavyweights to get their respect. Well said. Exactly. You know what I mean? And I got to get my dude. He says, Boxingego, come on, you bugging, Ego. At least he fights outside of Las Vegas with different judges and referees. Hashtag Team Pacquiao. Hashtag Stay Salty. But look at my reply. He has no choice but to fight out of Vegas. You think Jeff Horn or Chris Algieri would do numbers in Vegas? LOL. You know what I mean? So people act like what is happening. Pacquiao's doing it out of nobility. Like, oh, I'm just a noble fighter and I want to be a road warrior. I got to show everybody how good I still am. It's not. He's fighting in Australia because that's the only market where you could sell as a Jeff Horn fight. Do you know what I'm saying? Where else would that be popular? T-Mobile Arena just got Canelo versus Golovkin. What do you think Jeff Horn versus Pacquiao is going to do? When fans know in the Vegas area, if they're going to visit or want to visit Vegas, they could wait a couple of months and see goddamn Canelo versus Golovkin. You know, or even a Mayweather McGregor. You know what I mean? It's still going to be a big lucrative fight. So Pacquiao fighting against Chris Algieri in Macau, that's out of necessity. It's not because he just wanted to go over to China. It's because you couldn't sell that in America. You know what I mean? The only place where it has maybe a shot would be New York, but it probably clearly made more sense to put it in Macau because they put Zhao Shiming on the card, I believe. Hernandez said, y'all forget who Manny is and what he's done. This picture is false. 8 division world champ. More excuses. Floyd has not accomplished as many weight divisions because he didn't start as low as Pacquiao, but people still say he has to move up to 60 to fight Golovkin, rematch Canelo, who he dogged, and fight Keith Thurman, fight Errol Spence. But those same fans were like, no, this is not true. Not our beloved Pacquiao. Pacquiao earned the right to be choosy at this stage of his career. He fought and beat the best, except Floyd. He earned it. See? See how everyone's all passive when it comes to Floyd? And see, this is or when it comes to Pacquiao, everyone's all passive. He don't want no more. Mexican on Instagram put false, total false. See, that's how I know who's full of shit, because they usually don't have any explanation. It's just false, or I'll make a video. I'm like, hey, I don't think Vasyl Lomachenko, as talented as he is, I don't think he's #1 pound for pound. False! How? Look, Kaiser University. Bro, this is probably his last fight. He's old as fuck. He has nothing left to prove. He has fought everyone in his time. Let him go out with a bang. See? More excuses. When it comes to Cotto or Pacquiao, then, oh, they've done everything. They gave it all. So Floyd hasn't done that in 2 decades, and beating Cotto and beating Pacquiao, and then people are still angry. This is how I know who's full of shit in boxing, right? Why are you mad that he retired, legitimately retired for 2 years, and he's coming back for what people call a money grab versus Conor McGregor? You know what I'm saying? Bro, this is his last fight. He's old as fuck. This might be Floyd's last fight. You know what I mean? And he wants to cash out against Conor McGregor, who will definitely make him more money than, I don't know, then is going to make more money than to actually fight somebody in boxing. That's facts. You think Conor McGregor is going to do less than a Keith Thurman fight? You know what I'm saying? It just won't. I'll put money on that. I put money if Mayweather McGregor is made. We'll look at Keith Thurman and Errol Spence and all these dudes. We'll look at their next numbers and see if they're even remotely close to Mayweather McGregor. And that'll at least give us some level of indication of their star power versus the Mayweather McGregor fight. You know what I'm saying? But it's crazy. And like I said, there's a very simple fix to this. If you don't want the pressure from champions, then don't be a champion. Point blank, period. Pacquiao beat Vargas. He definitely could have got rid of the belt. But I'm gonna tell you how the game works, man. And people get mad or whatever. It doesn't matter. I get paid through Google and YouTube. You know what I mean? And thank you guys for the donations, people who donated. But at the end of the day, it's because it looks like this. When you make a fight that you know is not going to go over great with the public, but maybe you can make some money as a company like Top Rank. They can make money from this because the venue in Australia holds 55,000 people, and if they sell enough tickets, which it looks like they allegedly sold 40,000 or whatever, so cool, you can make some money on that end. It's just not going to transition to massive pay-per-view buys. But since Pacquiao is a name and an attraction, you could stick it to the public and make a fight that boxing doesn't really demand. But you can make some money on the back end with ticket sales, right? Because the venue's so big, and that's probably the only opportunity fans would even have to see a Pacquiao, not just signing autographs or meet and greet, but actually fighting in Australia, right? I don't remember the last time Pacquiao fought in Australia, right? And same thing with Canelo versus Liam Smith. Why do you think Canelo, who had been fighting at 155 pounds for 5-6 fights in a row, why do you think he fought Liam Smith and went down an extra pound to 154? Because that was the only way you could even try to justify why Canelo vacated his belt to Golovkin at middleweight and then is fighting Liam Smith, a fight when he was in a division with the Charlo brothers at the time, Demetrius Boo Boo Andre, Jared Swift Hurd, whoever. That's how you justify it, because it's a world title fight. You know what I mean? Oh, okay. So if Canelo came in at 155, then he couldn't fight for Liam Smith's title. So it would take a meaningless fight and make it even more or less meaningful. You get what I'm saying? Same thing with Pacquiao. That's why he's holding on to the belt, because nobody wants to see the Jeff Horn fight, but at least you can mark it as a WBO championship fight right now. Because Jeff Horn, if he beats him, he gets a title. So you can dangle that as somewhat of an incentive, you know what I mean, especially for the challenger, and that's how you keep it pushing. So I'm telling you, it's greed. If you don't want that pressure, you get rid of the belt. But in doing that, if Pacquiao gets rid of the belt, he is no longer a champion. And if he's no longer a champion, then it makes a fight that meant really little for the division. Because even if, let's say Jeff Horn knocks out Pacquiao, I'm still picking Errol Spence to beat him. I'm still picking Keith Thurman to beat him. If Brook healed up and psychologically repairs, then I would pick him to beat him too. You know what I mean? Danny Garcia, I would pick all those guys to beat Jeff Horn. They all have better experience, right? And most of those guys that I named are all punchers, right? So Jeff Horn wouldn't be the only one with firepower. So again, that's what it boils down to. It's business and it's politics. You strip, if Pacquiao says, you know what, I'm not trying to fight Thurman, I'm not trying to fight Crawford and all these other guys, right? And he wants to relieve that pressure, fine. But he's going to do it at the expense of making an already low meaningful fight it would make it even less meaningful, because there would be no title up for grabs. You guys get what I'm saying? So that's why it's like you want your cake and eat it too. You don't want to fight the other champions. You don't want to unify. You don't want to fight guys who are deserving, like, you know what I mean, the Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, they're former champions, so they're deserving of title shots. Danny Garcia, he only has one loss to Keith Thurman. Some people even dispute that. Sean Porter, he lost to Kell Brook. He gave Keith Thurman one of his best fights, and then he just knocked out Berto. But you don't want to give them, even like a Sean Porter, an option. You don't want to fight the champions. You don't want to fight a guy from a lower division who's dominating 140 like Terence Crawford, but you want to hold on to the belt. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You got to make a decision. Drop that belt. You don't want that pressure, drop the belt. You know what I mean? Like, I've worked jobs since I was 14. I've always had some kind of job, right? And the thing is, when it comes to having a job, you see a lot. You see a lot of different things. And one of the things that I noticed with, like, there'll be times where people, they got promotions, right? They got a promotion at the job, and they realized after they already promoted and beat out the other competition for the position, they realized, man, this is too much work. I'm going to school, or I got kids, and this is more than I bargained for. So to relieve that pressure, they demote themselves. Like, you know what I mean? They step down and make that position free again, because they can't handle that workload, or they don't want to, or they're like, man, I'm young, I'm too young to be getting gray hairs from this job, or I don't like the way I'm being treated, or blah, no one's listening, whatever the reason is. That's what happened. And I've seen that happen multiple times at multiple jobs. You thought you wanted a promotion, you got the promotion, you figured out it wasn't exactly what you wanted, or it was more work, or it was just too conflicting with too much responsibility, or whatever. So you take yourself out of the flame by stepping back down. And that's in essence what Pacquiao could clearly do. You don't want to fight Crawford, you don't want to fight actual welterweight champions, which definitely makes sense for unifications because you've done so much. Get rid of that belt. Then now you don't have the pressure of that. You know what I mean? People might still pressure you to fight them, but you won't have something that they need to prove their worth. It's very simple, people. Don't make me come back as Eagle Valley, man. But like I said, Pacquiao's a good fighter. It's just, we got to stop with the excuses, get boxing back. And I like I said, you can dislike, but you can't disprove anything that I've said. I called it fair, and that's just what it is. You don't want the pressure. You don't want the belt. You know what I mean? You don't want to fight champions or people who are deserving of a title shot. except for Jeff Horn, the least proven, then relieve that pressure. But again, they want to have their cake and eat it too. They want to retain the belt for incentive and promotional reasons to promote the fight, but they don't want the responsibilities that come with him. I guarantee you, if Al Heyman is like, Spence, I want to make a fight with you and Keith Thurman, I guarantee you he's not turning it down if it's a fair offer. I'm not saying if you offered him peanuts he'll take it, but if they, hey, we'll give you guys both $3.5 million to fight each other, I guarantee you they both take it, right? Because that's where their heads are at. And if Pacquiao's head's not that, I'm a senator and I've already proven enough, like, that's cool. If that's how you feel, then you're not really in the championship mind state right now. Point blank, period. Checkmate. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.